asshole for refusing to cook for my wife's pregnant sister and telling her she has a husband who can do it. I, 31 male, have been married to my wife, Sage, 30 female, for 6 years. We have 2 kids together. I'm a chef and I love to cook, but generally we take turns cooking so neither of us gets burned out or start to feel like it's a chore. This is especially helpful when we host others because allergies are big in our families. When my wife was pregnant, though, I cooked for her all the time because pregnancy was not easy for Sage, and I wanted her to be able to relax and enjoy food instead of being too tired to cook or eat. This is how she was in the very early stages of her first pregnancy. Everyone knew about it, but Sage's sister Gwen, 34 female, brought it up an excessive amount and said she couldn't believe Sage was getting waited on during her pregnancy and that a dude would do that for his wife. I can't believe her husband loves her so much that he's cooking for her to make sure she's not too tired to cook or too sick to eat. Gwen, shut the fuck up. It was a touch annoying how often she brought it up. Now Gwen is pregnant with her first child. She called out of the blue after her pregnancy announcement to say I should cook and send meals over for her like I did for Sage. You mean his wife? Where your husband at? At first, I thought she was trying and failing to be funny. But no, she was serious as a heart attack. I told her I wasn't cooking for her, and I brought up how random and inappropriate it was asking like that. She told me that we're family and she's pregnant, and I should want her to rest as much as I had wanted Sage resting during both of her pregnancies because she's carrying his children. He made vows to love, honor, and protect her. You, unfortunately, just came along because you're related. Gwen, honey, baby, where the fuck your husband at? Where your husband at? Where the motherfucker that knocked you up? Like, shouldn't you be telling him? You see how her husband treated her? You should be treating me like she was treated. You don't go to her husband and say, treat me the same way you treated your wife. Gwen, where the fuck is your husband? Where your husband at? I told Gwen, Sage is my wife, so it's different. I told her that she has a husband to cook for her if that's what she wants. She told me her husband would never, and I should try being a good brother-in-law. Y'all don't think that's weird? My husband would never do it. So because you're my brother-in-law, you should do it. That's weird. That is weird to me, especially when it comes to shit like this. Ma'am, why did you get pregnant by him if you knew he wasn't gonna take care of you? Gwen, that's strange. Stop it. Knock it off. I told her brother-in-law doesn't equal spouse. Gwen tried to talk Sage into convincing me, but the two of them were never close. So Sage just rolled her eyes and told her where to go. Even she couldn't believe that Gwen was for real. Gwen's reaction of being told no by both of us was to run to her parents and tell them I refused to help her out, and she told them she was struggling and had just wanted some help. They asked why I couldn't do it occasionally, since Gwen's husband is too much of an ass to do it. I told them it was a lot to ask and we weren't that close to her. When Gwen realized her parents hadn't convinced me or convinced Sage to convince me, she called back and said I was an ass for not helping my family and for rubbing her husband's lack of consideration for her in her face. Wait, bitch, what? So I'm starting to feel like this will become such a huge deal now, and I'm doubting myself. Am I the asshole? What? Oh, wait. Wait. I need some of whatever the fuck Gwen is smoking on. I do. I need a lot of, honestly, I don't want it. If it's gonna have me this goddamn delusional, I don't want it. I don't fucking, because are you fucking serious? Like, you're an asshole for rubbing my husband's lack of consideration for me in my face. Bitch, if it walked like a duck and it quacked like a goddamn duck, because nobody on this side said anything about it. No one said anything about it. I asked you, why didn't you ask your husband? You said your husband would never. You're rubbing his lack of consideration for you in your fucking face by asking somebody else's husband to wait on you hand and fucking foot because your husband won't do it. Bitch, did you know that you can buy entire fucking meals from restaurants and hear me out? They'll even bring it to you. Bitch, you right there. You right fucking there. But no, you want to be delusional as fuck thinking that somebody owes you something because your husband sucks. The man you chose to marry and then let impregnate you sucks. You knew he sucked. You walked yourself right into this situation and now it's everybody else's fault. Bitch. Okay. Y'all was so fucking mad. I went off on Gwen. I forgot to talk to OP. OP, no, you're not the asshole. Your sister-in-law is weird as fuck. Am I the asshole for saying I don't see why my sister always has to be included, but I don't? I, 15 female, and my sister, 16 female, are only 11 months apart, but we're really different. She's always the prettier one, the more outgoing, and the more popular one. She was always surrounded by friends and loves all things makeup and fashion. I'm more introverted and shy, and I never really fit in the way that she did, though I always wanted to have friends. I like video games and baking and reading. I'm not into beauty stuff like she is. I don't ever really wear makeup, so we've never really had much in common. I've tried to be close to my sister, but it never worked out. We're just too different. And she resented my attempts for us to be closer. She let her friends say mean things about me, like calling me a freak and a weirdo, saying that I was lame and dumb. Sometimes they would be in our house and they would kick me out of the basement. It's set up for games and movies and stuff like that. They would tell me that I couldn't hang out with them and they wanted to watch something. My parents would always tell me to find something else to do. Well, tell me who's the favorite child without fucking telling me. Your parents suck. Already, this is the first time you've mentioned them and your parents no, you're not the asshole. You're not the asshole at all. My parents would always tell me that I had to find something else to do. A few times her friends split up at our house. Some were outside and some were in the basement. I only really had my room as a refuge. I told my parents about what the others would say about me, and they really didn't care. I think once they said they would deal with it, but it didn't stop. My parents just let them kick me out of spaces or tell me to stop doing what I was doing so they could do it, and it was never a problem. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. We already know how this is going to end. This girl's going to turn 18, and she's going to move the fuck out, and she's not going to come back. Because are you fucking kidding me? My house is supposed to be my safe space. My home is supposed to be the safe space from all of the uglies out in the world. The bullying, the racism, all of that shit stops at my front door. But her parents are not even giving her a fucking safe space. The only space that she was safe was in her bedroom, and probably not even then, because if her sisters and the friend decided they wanted to bust up in the room, her parents weren't going to fucking do anything about it. That sucks, and I am so sorry. I am so sorry. When I started high school, I finally found a group of friends that I fit in with. There's 5 of us, and we're all really close. I even have a boyfriend now. But my sister hates that she's not welcome in with them. And the reason for that is before I became friends with them, she and her friends were really awful to them. They were bullies. Call it like it is. Your sister and her friends were bullies to this group of people. And now she wants to be around. Fuck that. No, hell no. Absolutely not. My sister and her friends were really awful to them. She would mock them or make fun of them for their appearance or for being weird. So none of them truly like her. My boyfriend is the only one without that history because he moved to town right at the start of high school. So he never knew my sister before we got close. When my friends are over, my sister will try to insert herself. She's tried to do that by making fun of me or pushing me out. But my friends actually like me. Your sister is fucking trash. For her to only be 16 years old, she fucking knows better, but she sucks as a human being. Like, so you want to be a part of this friend group because you ain't got nothing else to do, clearly, because you all over here breathing down our necks. But your idea of inserting yourself into the group is to make fun of someone that everybody in the group actually likes. Okay, well, how's that working out for you, huh, sis? The problem is my parents are not okay with my sister being excluded. They said if I want to hang out with my friends, we have to be open to her hanging out if she wants. What type of fucking shit is that? What type of sense does that fucking make? If you want to hang out with your friends, you guys have to be okay with your sister hanging out with you if she wants. But if your sister's friends come over to the house, you need to get out of whatever room that you're in that they want to be in and let them do what they want to do. What the fuck? Are you kidding? Girl, no, you are not the asshole. I would have called my fucking parents out too. My sister has more free time now because her friendship group had this big fight. And now there's many splits and smaller groups and no one has the time. So she's around more and wants to be involved. I tried to stop inviting my friends over, but if they even came to our neighborhood to hang out, it was a rule my parents put into place. Saturday, I got so frustrated, I told the 3 of them that I don't see why my sister always has to be included, but I don't. I told them it was clear she's the favorite and everyone in the family just thinks I'm some freak who should be alone for the rest of her life. My parents were furious. Am I the asshole? No, baby, you're not the asshole. You're absolutely not the asshole. Your parents are embarrassed because you called out their favoritism. They didn't think that you would have the courage to call them out on their bullshit, and you did it. And now they're embarrassed, and they 100% should be. They should be fucking embarrassed. They have 2 goddamn daughters, and they need to treat you guys fucking equally. Her friends come to the house, and they're allowed to kick you out of rooms of your fucking house. But your friends can't even come into the goddamn neighborhood and hang out with you without her being included. That's bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. I applaud you for calling them out. I applaud you. Continue to do so. Keep calling them out. Every single time they do something, they try to make it seem like it's your fault or you're doing something wrong, call them out. Every single fucking time. Eventually, they'll get fucking tired of it. I might be thinking a little bit too hard into it, but personally, I feel like your sister might be trying to get to your boyfriend. He's the only one that has not had a negative experience with her. And for her to try to force herself into this friend group, I think she's trying to get close to your boyfriend. I mean, I might just be reaching here. I mean, I'm going to pull my arm back in case I pull a muscle. But, I feel like because he's the only person in the friend group that she has not had any type of negative interactions with, I truly, truly think she's trying to get close to your boyfriend because you have something that she clearly doesn't.